Hey everybody. Now that we have some content created in our content editor box, we have our headers and our paragraphs. So we have text, we have images here, we have our videos. I want to show you a few things to keep in mind when we're editing our text. So you see here we have a menu, two line, and sometimes when you open up your content editor box, there will be just the one line. Again, as a reminder, if you want to expand that menu, you click on the three dots there at the end. But you want to keep a few things in mind when you're editing your text. So color and size matters. um, you want to make sure that if you choose to use color to emphasize certain text, you want to make sure that the color you're choosing is enough contrast on the background so that it's easy to read for people with visual impairment and for people using screen readers. So, for example, if we wanted to make this, let's say we wanted to make this a subheading, or maybe I just wanted to use bold print here, and then I wanted this to be a list. I can highlight that text and I can either create a bulleted list or a numbered list. I'm going to use the first bullet. And let's just say I want all of this to be a little bit bigger. Typically, you're going to want it defaults to 10 point, which is fine to use, or 12 point is a more common font size. So you can, and you would want to keep it consistent. So if you're going to choose 10 point, use 10 points throughout your course, or if you're going to use 12 point, use 12 point throughout your course. So you just want whatever you choose to be consistent. So you see here I've changed the font color. I've changed the font to bold print. I can change the color where I can maybe make it purple. What I wouldn't want is to use a lighter color such as yellow or even some of these top layers. You can see here that contrast is just not enough for really anyone to see. So you just want to make sure that the color you choose is a dark enough color um, for people with, keep all of your students in mind, and especially those with visual impairments. So you can see we can choose color for emphasis. You can make things, you can use bulleted list. If you get to the end of a list and you don't want anything else, you're typing and you don't want that to be a bulleted item, you just keep your cursor there at the end of that line and click the bulleted list again, and it will um, make that go to the next line. Okay, so that's how you end your list. You can also highlight certain things. So let's say you want this specific section highlighted. There's the highlighter option, and you can choose different highlights as well. So you can see very easily that if you're using a variety of content, such as your text, your images, your videos, which we want, you can, I guess, make your think about how you're presenting the text, because just a long um, chunk of text might make it harder for some students to read or to be engaged. And so if you break it up by either using, like I showed earlier, headings and subheadings, or if you break it up with different color or bulleted list, things like that, sometimes it makes it easier for students to stay engaged. There are lots of other things that you can do with the content editor, like creating hyperlinks. So for instance, if I wanted this to be, um, a link, I would just highlight that text, select well, first of all, I'd have to find could be like a website. So I might come up here to Beaufort's website or whatever resource that you might want to make easily available for your students. And then you copy that URL, you select the link, or you can right click, so you can link it here, or you can select the link from the menu. I'm going to select it here. You just copy and paste the URL, good practice is for any link to open in a new window. So I always select new window and then save. So you can see here that it's quite easy to build engaging text through the content editor menu, and there are lots of additional options that I haven't covered, but the ones that I've highlighted here are the most commonly used tools. So again, remember your spell checker, your accessibility checker, um, your remember to consider how your text looks. Consider chunking your text and using some of the features to make it a little bit more engaging for your students. I hope this helps. Please feel free to contact me if you have questions. Thanks everybody.